Thank you very much. When it comes to our feelings, there's only so many times you can say, no, really, it's fine. I'm fine. No problem. Then we're left with a surplus of bottled up emotions trying to find their way out. It either explodes or comes out sideways. Eric Rittmeyer is the author of The Emotional Marine, 68 Mental Toughness and Emotional Intelligence Secrets to Make Anyone Instantly Like You. He's here with the reasons why people hold back from expressing themselves. Good morning.
Deborah, good morning. So nice to see you. Carrie was awesome. The prior segment was wonderful. What a great lead-in.
Oh yeah, we are, like today, we're aiming at helping people out today. Okay, so when it comes to emotions, a lot of it, the foundation can be found in our childhood, that family of origin, right? Where your feelings validated as a child. But past that point, it's just hard to articulate for a lot of people how we feel.
Yeah, here's the issue, Deborah. We get no training on this. We get no education on it. We're hardwired to feel first and think later. We're emotional creatures. So instead of giving our kids and society tools for how to address the emotions, we tell people to turn them off. Just ignore that, suppress that. It's impossible. Emotions are very person dependent. So the way I respond to something might be different than how you respond to it. But the key is to learn how to control the emotions, not try to turn it off. Just learn healthy ways to express how we're feeling.
Yeah, and it's interesting because you were a Marine. There are times when you're in certain jobs like that, those emotions get pushed back, right? But when you have to communicate with somebody, it's important to understand what you're feeling, the message that is received, the message that is delivered. So you got to ask yourself clarifying questions, you say, like, for example, what's in my mind that's making me feel different? Or have I ever felt this way before?
Right. And what's important to point out, Deborah, is 100% of the feelings we have are okay. If we're upset, if we're angry, if we're sad, if we're anxious, 100% of our feelings are okay. It's how we respond to those feelings. And again, it's about acknowledging the fact that as emotional creatures, we're hardwired to have a reaction. So when something happens, we're going to have an emotional reaction as opposed to processing information logically, then we can respond. So the emphasis is on acknowledging the emotion, knowing when we're emotional, and then realizing what follows that is going to be emotion-based, which means we're probably going to say and do things we wouldn't do if we were thinking logically.
Yeah, I got to know about that trigger, right? All right. The other thing is oftentimes feeling isolated and alone in your mind. We certainly know that people who deal with depression or in a crisis will feel like they're the only ones in the world dealing with it. And so we got to know that we're not alone.
We sure do, and this is where we got to do a better job with our boys too, Deborah. We have to start letting our boys understand that it's not a sign of weakness to feel however you feel. We can't make them hold that in. We have to give them tools. And a lot of times when we feel a certain way, the gut instinct reaction is to hold it in because I'm the only person who feels this way. Nobody else is as upset as I am or as depressed as I am. What we end up realizing is if we just listen, if we truly listen to people, listening with the intent to understand, not with the intent to reply, we'll realize that a lot more people are in the same exact storm that we're in.
Yeah, we hold it in for fear of being judged, right? And then the fear of looking weak. And as you say, no one says, I hope I can become even weaker one day. The word weak, you say, is overused and often incorrectly used.
It sure is. We have to learn how to label these feelings. And again, I refer to these as emotional tornadoes. We get in situations where we become so overcome with emotion that we become paralyzed. What we have to get better at is called compartmentalization. I have no idea how to spell it, Deborah. Don't ask me. I can tell you what it means. We compartmentalize our emotions so we can set them aside and not allow one to bleed over into the other. When we're able to do that, we can separate these feelings that we have that are concrete and real feelings as opposed to the ones that are just fleeting, spur of the moment because somebody said something we didn't like.
Yeah. And like Carrie was pointing to earlier, right? Too many feelings to separate them. Like you call it in your feels, and it feels like that emotional tornado. So you're not sure if your feelings are concrete and which ones are fleeting.
I call this emotional intoxication. When we become so intoxicated in emotion that we're incapable of thinking logically, we're going to make bad decisions. We're going to do things we wouldn't normally do. Remain in control of the emotions, acknowledge them, know they're okay. Just find healthy ways to express them.
Yeah. I'm going to back up to something you said, especially our boys, because it is in society been put in their heads that you can't be emotional, that you can't cry, that you can't do certain things. And really what they're saying is that you can't be human.
We're wrecking our children, Deborah. There's no way to avoid the emotion, male, female, adult, child. We all have it. We're wrecking our boys, especially by telling them that they're not allowed to express how they feel. We have to do a much better job at that.
Yeah. Well, Eric, thank you so much. You know, if I ever served in the military, my dad did, but if I ever served in the military, I would serve beside you.
Oh, you're the best ever. I love you. I love your show. You guys are all awesome to me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. For more information on Eric Rittmeyer and to order his book, The Emotional Marine, 68 Mental Toughness and Emotional Intelligence Secrets to Make Anyone Instantly Like You, we have a link on our site, greatdayhouston.com. Okay, so you're in a relationship.